Class, welcome to one of my favorite weeks in the course on mass and mediated communication. Let's get started. First to note, we are all consumers of mass media. That can be voluntarily or involuntarily. But either way, we must learn to consume media critically, and we're going to learn more about what that means. Let's first understand mass media. Mass media is a revenue-generating business. That means the people distributing the media, the content, is also generating profits for that business. This can be books and printing presses. Those companies, those authors are earning money. Newspapers, television, network and cable, radio, and internet sites. All of these mediums of mass media communication are earning revenue through advertisements. What we need to start thinking about is what is the credibility of each of these communication mediums. Are newspapers more accurate than television? Is an internet site where you gain your news feeds more accurate and more reliable than radio? So this is a variable decision based on what you listen to. But what I want to encourage you to do this week is to start thinking about where the most accurate, reliable information comes from. What are you choosing as your mass media inputs? Social media, on the flip side, is user-generated content. So mass media is an organization where people are paid to deliver content. Social media is user-generated. That could be blogs. And I want to make note that profit-making businesses also have blogs. The Idaho Statesman, for example, has their paid staff also have blogs. So blogs can get a little bit dicey. It could be part of a mass media, or it could have individual persons just having their own blog and disseminating content. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Foursquare, those are all social media sites where users are generating the content, the photography. And once again, I want you to think about, are these more credible than a printed newspaper or a book or a professional journal? What do you think is the most credible source for newsworthy information? In critical thinking with mass media, we first have to understand the steps. First is awareness. Understanding how media affects our lives. And as we've read in our textbook and discussed in class, media is penetrating every single section of our lives, more than sometimes we may even want it to. And that is an involuntary, sometimes we get media involuntarily. My example of that is grocery stores. Why do grocery stores have TV monitors at the checkout stand? Well, they insert their own paid programming. Product manufacturers are paying the grocery store to put their paid programming on that screen to try to persuade and influence consumers to buy those products, to go back into the store and use their power of money to get more. So, awareness. Where are you getting your mass media inputs? Access. Understanding the various forms. We talked about those. Radio, TV, internet. Recognize how media works. Understand the patterns. And we're going to talk more about that when we talk about media literacy and understanding the various filters that go into creating media. Assessment. Learning how to think critically, or even possessing the desire to think critically about our mass media. And then action. This is changing your behavior, being active in your media consumption. First of all, things like noting that Wiki is not a credible reference, using sources from the library databases and professional journals as credible references, understanding when you're reading a blog or you're reading a news website. Those are conscious decisions about your media consumption. I want to talk quickly about an elaboration likelihood model. And this is a model that is used within mass media for elements of persuasion. And it really comes down to advertising. And there's two. Central, peripheral. So in the central, the goal of the persuasive element is very apparent. The receiver is an active participant in the process. They understand that they are being persuasive. They are motivated to be persuaded in their behavior. Listening to a prescription drug advertisement. There's really good motivation for some people to want to know about insomnia medications. The second is peripheral. And peripheral is that the person is swayed by surface characteristics within the advertiser and within the advertisement. I like to use Abercrombie & Fitch as an example here. Abercrombie & Fitch is a clothing store. We have one in the mall. But their ads do not sell clothing. Really, look at an Abercrombie & Fitch ad. There's very little clothing in those ads, even though it's a clothing store. They are trying to use the surface characteristics of their models to persuade people to buy their product. Their models have a lifestyle to them. They're carefree and easy. They're hanging out together. They are physically attractive. So by influencing the consumer to try to want to be like those models, they are using a peripheral sense of persuasion. The nationalist appeal. This is using our own sense of patriotism to help persuade to buy their products. Red, white, and blue, our national flag colors. American, national. These are all parts of using our sense of patriotism to help sell a product or service. This slide is very important to you, and I'd like you to make sure that you pause and make sure you read through all of it. It also goes into some of our assignments for this week, but it's understanding how media is created. All media has an author. Someone is creating it. All media has a format in which the message is constructed and delivered. All media is constructed for one niche audience or maybe two niche audiences. Media is constructed for young adults. Media is constructed for women over 40. They have very specific people in which they're trying to reach. All media has content very specifically created to help meet the audience needs. And all media has a purpose for which it was created. Understanding this will help you better become a critical consumer of media. I want to make note about the speed of media and how it is changing, and those changes are affecting how media is delivered to us and our own consumption of it. Because we have people generating media on their own terms, it also creates misconceptions and mistakes. The paid mass media producers, TV stations, newspapers, radio organizations have all had to have reduction of staff because advertising dollars aren't there. With reduction of staff, they are trying to produce more and thus are working faster. Working faster creates mistakes. It also reduces the ability to have unbiased journalism. So less people, they work fast, they have more biased journalism. They're trying to keep up with the attention span of the audience. 10 seconds and less. There is just no time to think. Journalists just don't have that capacity to think more clearly about their filters, their audience, the purpose in which they're generating the content to be more thorough and non-partisan or non-biased in it. The speed of thumbs and the influence of social network reporting. A person on the bank of the Hudson River took this picture and distributed it via social media faster than any national news station could get to it. Speaker credit or media credibility. Is what you hear and see actually true? You need to think about these questions to understand and think about the diversity of media in which you consume. Be a skeptic. Consume the same story from various media sources. Use the media literacy techniques and make sure you understand the sourcing of all your content to know how it influences the media convergence. Thank you.